Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Welcome back, everyone, to Zero Dark Doomsday. I tell you what, it is Tuesday, or is it Doomsday? Well, the Walking Dead president, Joe Biden, is making quite a stink over his Supreme Court reform ideas. As we have discussed, they are incredibly unconstitutional, and they're illegitimate in concept. They can't work. They're completely how do we put this? They're completely incompatible with the concepts of a just and lawful government. Plus, they're just oh, God, intellectually vacant of any real value. They just can't be. They would be the tools of a dictator if he could make them stand and stick and make the people swallow them. In any event, Maggot Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, who I do not like, even though he's a Republican, I do not like him. He put together a chicken shit blue ribbon panel, supposedly, to investigate the assassination attempt of Trump. And he put rhinos on there, rhino Republicans in name only. In any event, I think it's Corey Mills, former Navy SEAL sniper. He is starting his own committee to investigate. And I imagine they will probably dig up more information that's useful and valuable. In any event, back to today's message. Our Zero Dark Doomsday. So Biden proposed that he's going to put an enforceable ethics code out there and term limits to the Supreme Court, and he's going to remove a Supreme Court decision. And somehow he's going to take away presidential immunity. So basically, he's going to expose himself, because that's what he'd be doing. He'd be exposing himself if he got that to pass to future responsibility for actions taken while supposedly acting legitimately as the president. I guess he doesn't realize that he's at stake, his presidency. And even if he's dead posthumously, he can still find people guilty. They did it with Trump. He wasn't even the president. They still impeached him. The world is full of ridiculous clowns now. Anyways, back to Biden. Says he's going to reform the Supreme Court, put out his plan, and Maggot Mike Johnson said it is dead on arrival. DOA, dead on arrival. And so what was Biden's response to that? Speaking of Mike Johnson, he said he is, meaning he is dead on arrival. So is that a threat, or is that just an old doddering fool, right? A dementia-addled mind just responding like a spoiled little bitch. Oh, they've taken Joe off the drugs, and they're letting him just ramble on about. He's standing up at a stage and just talking a bunch of trash. And it's unbelievable that they're able to do this. They threatened him, apparently, with the 25th Amendment unless he resigned. I believe that they're trying to give Obama responsibility for that one. But back to this comment. The legislation or proposed legislation is dead on arrival. I told you it would never pass. It should never pass. It won't pass constitutional muster. In other words, if they have any committees that look into the constitutionality of legislation prior, it won't pass. It won't pass the smell test. The people of the United States of America won't like it. And certainly the Supreme Court would find the law repugnant. They would find the law contradictory in so many ways it could never be allowed to stand. It would be null and void. It would have no force or effect of law. So what is going on with it? I'm not the only constitutional scholar, am I? Along with you guys? No, we're not the only ones. So it's just being discussed as this is just a bunch of political grandstanding by the Democrats, trying to make it look like they're here to save democracy. But it's the political violence, folks. Talking about putting people on the ground. Doomsday. That's what they want to do. Now, the violence is increasing everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. The Olympics, it used to be about sports. Now it's about hanging your nutsack out for the world to see. It's about grooming children. It's about insulting Christians and besmirching Christianity altogether and mocking it. It's about ignoring the elephant in the room, which is Europe being taken over by radical anti-Europeans who are violent. It's also about enemies. Now, I know sports are competitive. They always have been. Back when I was young and I played sports, it was very competitive. Hell, when I was 39 and competing in strongman, it was very competitive. But it didn't involve death threats. And you would think that if an Olympic athlete who's supposed to be there on terms of peace, right? It's not a military or war zone, right? It's supposed to be a peaceful competition, but we're getting a lot of aloha snack bars out of people from Muslim nations. And essentially, that's a way to tell Israelis, we're going to kill you. We're getting a lot of this death threat stuff now. There's no more let's talk. There's no more let's think. That's for sure. The days of thinking and talking are basically done. Essentially done. So do you see the risk and threat to you, to your family, to your world? I think you should. I think you should see the threat. I see it, right? Because it's becoming more commonplace. It's easier to throw a threat out there. But you can even shoot at the president, and the FBI will deny that it was actually a shot. Oh, no, it was a cap gun. No, that wasn't an assassination attempt. It was a piece of shrapnel, as if having shrapnel fly through your face and your head is perfectly normal. Happens all the time. No, it doesn't happen all the time. It's not perfectly normal. It's incredibly dangerous and violent. And here we are, 2024, going into the election. If they're willing to threaten the Speaker of the House, you know that they're hating Trump. And every Democrat is seething. All the pro-Kamala, pro-terror, pro-destruction, and anti-American Democrats, every last one of them are seething with anger and hatred. Right? They are the Trump derangement syndrome morons. They're not going away. They're losing bigger and bigger numbers of black voters to Trump. And we're going to have a war in this country, folks, whether it's partisan, whether it's anti-immigration, whether it's a flat-out secessionary movement. We're going to find out. I hope you are prepared, right, up here with a plan. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. Those are your tools. But understand, this is what the bad guys want. They want to take down the country, right? They want to take down the country, and they'll use everyone and everything they can, from communists to jihadis to shitty legislation and lies using the media, FBI, and CIA. This, folks, is SHTF, and it's in our faces. Semper Fi, God bless America. I'll see you tonight.